So we were talking about transcription. You were actually seeing this slide. The same things are explained once again using pictures from another textbook. By looking at the color of the diagrams, you might have understood which textbook I am using. Okay. Now this is the RNA polymerase sigma factor. You can see +1, -10, -35 regions. First of all, the RNA polymerase holoenzyme is binding there. This is a closed complex. The same thing is explained here in this notes on the diagram. And then what happens during initiation? I told you about a closed complex and the importance of the other regions of the promoter. And the transcription complex is moving away from the promoter as they are adding bases one by one. We call it promoter clearance. The sigma subunit dissociates from the promoter, from the polymerase complex after the addition of 5 nucleotides. The same diagram, the second part of the diagram. So with the formation of the transcription bubble in open complex, initiation is completed. Open complex is formed. Initiation means the first ribonucleotide is added, and then from the promoter this enzyme complex is moving forward. Accordingly, the transcription bubble also is moving forward. Accordingly, the length of the RNA chain is increasing and sigma factor is going away. We found all those things in another slide in the previous section. And there is no proofreading activity. So what happens if an error is coming, if a wrong base is added? Actually, the error rate for transcription is much more than that of replication. Approximately 10 to 4 to 10 to 5 ribonucleotides are incorporated. When 10 to 4 to 10 to 5, 10 raised to 4 to 10 raised to 5 ribonucleotides are incorporated, about one base may be incorporated wrongly. So 1 out of 10,000, like that. That is there. And why is it not affecting us? You see, many copies of the RNA are generally produced from a single gene, from a single segment of DNA. And the life of an RNA is very little. They are degraded and they are replaced like that. From every mRNA, if a few polypeptide chains are produced, then they are degraded, then new mRNAs are produced. So even if an mRNA is produced with a wrong sequence, since its lifespan is very little, it is unlikely that an mRNA molecule will have a deleterious effect on the cell, producing it in case of a wrong transcription. That is what is explained here. So since the production of the large number of mRNA, even if some of them contains one or few wrong bases, it is not going to affect us badly. Secondly, you are going to study something called a wobbling hypothesis. Wobble hypothesis is a section of translation. That also will help us to avoid the error of these wrong nucleotides being added on the RNA. Also, there is an arrangement, there is an opportunity in the eukaryotic RNA polymerase where a mispaired base can be removed. A mismatched base can be removed from the 3' end of the transcriptase. But it is not that much clear. This idea is not that much ensured. Same things again. This is a DNA strand. RNA is being produced. 3' end of the RNA. Transiently it is base paired with the template DNA. This is the RNA polymerase enzyme. transcription is moving. Of course, from the color you might have understood that this is from another textbook. We want to see two things again here. What is this? Unwinding and rewinding. As the RNA polymerase is moving forward in this direction, that part of the DNA should be unwound. Temporarily, the DNA strands should be separated. For that, unwinding is required. You know that DNA is a spring-like coiled molecule. At the same time, as the polymerase complex is moving forward, behind that region, rewinding should take place. So, unwinding and rewinding. Unwinding just before transcription, rewinding just after transcription of the parental DNA duplex. Make a note of it. This one. See, what is transcription bubble? The area on the DNA where the DNA strands are temporarily separated. Non-template strand or co-distant and a template strand also, or both of them are visible. Again, supercoiling. You know that because of this unwinding and rewinding, supercoils are being created. Because of the unwinding, the DNA is turning in one direction. This is resulting in a positive supercoiling. When you come to the class, I will show you what is supercoil, what is positive supercoil and what is negative supercoil. We can easily demonstrate it in a class. And behind the transcription bubble, when the DNA is coming back to the previous position, there will be negative supercoil. Okay. These are the other classes of promoters. Because you know, different promoters are defined by different sigma subunits. Different types of sigma subunits on different genes defines different promoters. That means different regions of the DNA can be considered as promoter simply by changing the sigma subunit of the polymerase holoenzyme. A type of prominent sigma subunit is sigma 32. What is sigma 32? Sigma 32, a sigma molecule, sigma subunit with a molecular weight of 32,000 Dalton. What is sigma 70? A sigma subunit with a molecular weight of 70,000 Dalton. So sigma 70 is a type of sigma subunit which can recognize a type of promoter, while sigma 32 is another type of sigma subunit which can recognize a different type of promoter. For example, this sigma 32 is known to identify the promoters of heat shock proteins, HSP. Heat shock proteins are proteins in the body of some organisms which can sense temperature changes in the body and which can respond accordingly. Anything new here in this diagram? Only thing is that the RNA is very long here, but this is also from a different textbook. And here topoisomerase is there for creating the, for removing the positive supercoil, and again topoisomerase is there for removing the negative supercoil. By now you might have understood how many textbooks I am referring to make some notes for you. You also should refer many textbooks to write your own notes. And coming to the termination of transcription, you see transcription has 3 stages: initiation, elongation and termination. I think we have such a slide somewhere. We have such a slide. Okay, come back. Termination of transcription. How is transcription taking place? When the DNA, when the RNA polymerase, that term is missing here. When the RNA polymerase complex, the transcription machinery is moving forward along the DNA, when they are encountering a certain DNA sequence, the RNA synthesis process means temporarily stopped. And at some of these sequences, transcription is terminated. In eukaryote, actually the technique is not that much clearly understood, but in prokaryotes, minimum 2 types of termination signals have been identified. One is mediated by a protein called Rho factor. The other one is not involving any Rho factor. So whenever the termination is involving a Rho factor, we call it Rho dependent termination. When the Rho factor is not involved, we call it Rho independent termination. What is Rho independent termination? They have two features. One, a region that produces an RNA transcript with the self-complementary sequences, permitting the formation of a hairpin structure. I mean, on this region produces an RNA transcript with the self-complementary, means some regions of the RNA are produced which are complementary to its own previous sequences. What happens? There is a segment on the RNA produced. Now a new segment is created which is complementary to the previous section. And when two complementary strands of nucleic acid are coming together, you know that they will base pair. So when they are base pairing like this, it is now something like a hairpin. Hairpin, pin on your hair, especially on the girls, I mean. Girls are using hairpin, you know, like that. It has a bend like this. So when the RNA, when some regions of the RNA are self-complementary, they form double helix. I mean, they just get hydrogen bonded. Once this hairpin is formed, RNA polymerase cannot move forward. RNA polymerase cannot move forward and it results in a termination. So this is how Rho independent termination is working. Yes, it is seen here. See, by the time I told you that in the previous slide, they made it here, what to do. So this is the DNA. This is the RNA polymerase machinery. And this is the RNA being made. And some regions of the RNA made are self-complementary. So they are resulting in the formation of a hairpin-like structure. Thereafter, RNA synthesis cannot take place. It results in termination. It is also called intrinsic termination. And the termination site on the DNA is that site which causes termination of transcription by generating hairpin loops. I think now it is clear to you. Same thing only. This is the hairpin region. Inverted, repeat. The same molecule is inverted, and regions of the same RNA molecule are complementary to each other. This is actually Rho independent termination. This hairpin loop, whatever I told you, is present here. Okay. Now, what is Rho dependent terminator? Here, there is a factor called Rho factor. The Rho factor associates with the RNA at certain binding site. Then it is moving in the 5' to 3' direction along the RNA. It reaches a transcription complex. Then the Rho protein has ATP dependent RNA DNA helicase activity. Helicase activity is the one which is resulting in separation of the helix. You know that when the RNA is being synthesized, the RNA is temporarily bound to the DNA by means of complementary base pairing. This Rho protein has an ATP dependent RNA DNA helicase activity. It means ATP is hydrolyzed and RNA and DNA are separated. No more transcription is possible. This is how Rho dependent terminators are working. Is it Rho dependent or Rho independent? It is Rho independent. Rho factor binds with the RNA, then it is moving forward. It is reaching the transcription bubble. It causes hydrolysis of ATP and mRNA is separated. No more transcription. And I did not tell you there are 3 types of RNA polymerases in eukaryote. In prokaryote, the same stretch of RNA is broken down into mRNA, tRNA, then rRNA, etc. But in eukaryotes, different RNA polymerases are there. These RNA polymerases are producing different RNA molecules. This is just for your knowledge, that's all. What is this? This is very important. Formation of mRNA and its maturation. It is processed in a eukaryotic cell, not in a prokaryotic cell actually. In a eukaryotic cell, once the mRNA produced, it is given a cap, a 5-methyl guanosine cap on the 5' end of the mRNA, and it is given a poly A tail, a region having several adenosine triphosphate. I mean adenine, poly A tail means several adenines are added at the 3' end. At the 3' end. And some of the regions are called exons. Exons. These green regions are called exons. E-X-O-N-S. While these yellow regions are called introns. Where are these exons and introns present? They are present on the mRNA. They are formed during transcription. And exons are separated by introns. What are exons? Exons are the regions which are finally present in the mRNA which result in the synthesis of proteins. So they are required. Then what are introns? They are intervening sequences. They are not required in the final mRNA. They are not required for protein synthesis. So there is a process called modification, splicing, during which introns are removed from the primary mRNA and the exon fragments are joined together, producing the final mRNA. This is what is called splicing, and we are going to see splicing in detail.